Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I'm Anika Ray. I'm a spiritual intuitive teacher and a coach. And in this video, we are going to do an intuitive check-in, as I call it. This is a collective reading. It is timeless. And whenever you find it, it'll be a really good thing for you to sort of check in with yourself and see if any of this messages and any of the guidance actually resonates with you. Now, we are going to be leaning into more of a spiritual guidance. So this is something that can help you as you're navigating your spiritual path and your life. And then we're going to ground it in the second part more into the everyday life with the tarot and oracle reading, which is more of a psychic tool that I use that is really fun, and you can kind of skip between parts if you are more impartial to the tarot and everyday kind of life. Just go into the part 2, and if you want to listen to both, stick to this part 1. So on that note, why don't we just jump into part 1? All right, so intuitively, the first thing that I'm sensing, and it's kind of strange because I did get this feeling that we are being guided to heighten our awareness about where we sort of are, where you are in your path and on your journey, right? For some, this is a very intuitive path, right? You know where you're going. You know what doors you're opening. Maybe you are drawn to certain activities, classes, books. And so everything feels very natural, very organic. But what if you're in a group of people that it actually does not, where you feel stuck and you're like, I feel like I'm spiritually awakened, but I don't really know where to go with this. As a matter of fact, it's kind of confusing. I'm listening to a lot of different people and really just not knowing where to go. And so this is leading us into the space wherever you are in the spiritual journey. It is okay to have the moments where you simply don't know where to start and where things are confusing. So allow yourself that, grace and really compassion towards self. And if you are in that other space where you're opening the doors and you're going from one thing to another and you're sort of like, when does this end? Also give yourself a little bit of compassion and understanding if this is like too fast. So what's coming from spirit and the guides that are with us here, the point that I'm trying to make is there is no clock on this journey, on any spiritual awakening. There is no unique description of how this is going to look like for every person, except that there is this heightened awareness of wanting more, wanting something different, wanting something more. Don't feel like you have to know what that is. And, other people may suggest certain things and it may not resonate with you. It may simply mean that your beliefs about self are no longer supportive to you, and you start there. It may mean that maybe you want to get understanding of your energy, right? It's this quality of wanting different or wanting more is the only thing that you can take into consideration. And again, if you don't know what that is, really just, it's okay, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this grandiose moment of, wow, I'm spiritually awakened and now all of a sudden I'm going to be in a space of where I'm channeling and I'm doing energy healings and I'm helping people. Not everybody's going to go through this process. Again, if you're feeling stuck, just turn to what is interesting to you. It doesn't have to be something spiritual. It can be something personal. Growth is also a great way of heightening that spiritual awareness. And then allow yourself the time and space to truly explore what does this different actually look like for you, and how this is also manifesting in your life, how this is helping you. For some of you, I'm seeing that you really need something where you ground it practically, where you actually see. And for some of you, it is more about meaning and purpose. So lean into that as well, right? This is supposed to be not just like this spiritual aha moment, but it's also a place of how does the soul and the human meet in the space of spiritual awareness. I do see for some of you, it may guide you to be around other people and experience this in a collective manner. I'm getting, maybe you are doing some sort of medicinal, like, and I hate to sound like a cliche, ayahuasca, but perhaps this is going to be about plant medicine for you and experiencing the spiritual awakening and this heightened spiritual awareness with other people. I also see communities. Maybe you're sharing this with other people. Maybe you are setting up groups. Maybe this is a group that you have on Facebook, on Instagram, Meetup, whatever this is, right? This is very much a community experience for you. And some of you are going to have a more lonely or kind of a lone wolf experience, which is fine. Again, honor where you are with this. So this is our kind of first thing that Spirit is introducing, is this uniqueness of spiritual awakening and getting to that heightened spiritual awareness, right? That is a unique journey for all of us. Now, another thing that's really standing out here is your questions about your guides. So a lot of you may, excuse me, I have a hair sticking out, but a lot of you may be asking the question of, where are my guides? What do they look like? What are their names? Who am I working with? Maybe you're even calling on specific guides, and so I see some goddesses or some sort of deities. Some of you are working with nature and natural guides. Maybe this is Wicca or something like that. So honoring that there are going to be different guides for you at different times. Now, certainly you do have your main team of guides, but what is really coming through from your guides and also from Spirit is getting used to that guides will step in at certain times, and that you don't necessarily need to know the names of your guides, like the main group of guides. You don't have them written down. You don't need to know, is it this and this being, because they're, a lot of times they're working in groups. And, the group identity for these guides are sometimes more powerful and important than individual guides. So just be aware that, first, right, there can be different guides. There's the main team, but there are different guides that can be coming through for you at different times. And then also that the groups of guides are important. I work with a lot of groups. I started with the Akashic Records, which in the Akashic Records, we have groups of guides. So I'm very familiar with this concept. But I also know that some of my spirit guides do have some names and they're my main guides, but I don't know all of them. So even I that have been, I can say for myself, doing the spiritual growth and intuitive development for a little bit now, I don't know all of their names, because a lot of times they work in groups. Now, Ascended Masters are also for some of you very prevalent and important and showing up in your energy. There is a reason. Some of them are not of this origin. So, even if they give you names, like if you're having, if you have this guide that, some, like through a meditation, you hear a name or you see them, and they could be an Ascended Masters from like a different realm or a different galaxy. They will give you names that resonate with that particular vibration. I think vibration is more important than their name. And what comes to me is this, this channeling book that I was reading, which could be helpful to you. I believe the author is Sanaya Rahman, and somebody recommended that book. And for example, her guides are from a different place, and their names were Orin and Deben. And it's just like, and I hope I'm not butchering the names, but it's a vibration of the guide that they put into this name. It's not like, don't get hung up on their identities, right? On the identities of the guides And, don't get hung up if, you don't always see them. If you're practicing this in a meditation, if you are a light worker, you're like, oh, I know my guides, and why is this guide showing up, right? So be open to new guides, be open to guides working in groups, be open to the ascended masters, that sometimes their names may be something that's not documented in history, not even in metaphysical groups. You may not even find that, but they're using a specific name as a vibration so that they can get closer to you and you can get closer to them, and they can amplify your energy. A lot of this is about amplifying your energy. Now, we always end these intuitive messages with, like, I'm used to guides having 3 themes, but we're actually going to have 4 today. So the third one is learning how to manage your energy, working with chakras and working with different chakra systems. So here's what is coming through from spirit. A lot of you used to write that 7 chakra system, which is fine. But there are other chakras for some of you that are irrelevant, like that upper heart chakra. There's also the soul star chakra right above our head. There's also the chakra 0. For some of you, you're not grounded. That chakra is lighting up. So generally, a lot of people work with like the 7, 11, or 12 heart, 12 or 13 chakras. When you're working with these energy centers, because these are energy centers, use whatever you feel like is the relevant for you, right? If you're starting to resonate with the 13 chakra system, something that's more connected to like the ancient knowledge in Kabbalah or something like that, like honor the system that you are really drawn to. Because for a lot of you, the old system of like the 7 is no longer no longer really relevant for you, or maybe important, or maybe you don't feel like this is your system anymore. Work with the system of the energy and chakras that are really supportive to you. Go deeper. Some of you will not get this evidence somewhere, right? May not be a particular teacher, might not be widely accepted, as I'm saying, but maybe there is a particular teacher. To me, a lot of the stuff that I like about energy and chakras and this new kind of light and sort of different expressions come from a teacher called Diana Cooper. She's a UK teacher. I get drawn to a lot of her stuff. And I believe she talks about chakras that are not just the 7 chakras. She talks about, I believe, a 13 chakra system. And she uses a lot of light in her meditations and kind of different light beings like unicorns and ascended masters and working with archangels. So she's very much out there in woo-woo. And, and I like that about her. I really do. It resonates with me as true. So find the system that resonates with you, and start to incorporate it into your routine if you can, opening your chakras. And if you're new to the chakra system, again, on a soul level, this is not new to you. You know that your energy being, your being of light and soul, and managing your energy, it's an important thing in a part of the ascension and in part of this spiritual awakening process, because you're learning how the energy works within you and with you, right? Your own energy, you're getting accustomed to what does it look like when my chakras are open and balanced, when I am in harmony with my own energy, what does it look like when I'm not? And also, what does that look like when, I'm using the 7 chakra system and then the 13 or something else. So just go with this, explore it if this resonates with you. If not, you can just set that aside. The 4th thing, actually what they're saying is, for a lot of us, what we're opening up is to like really shifting our lifestyle and really looking into natural resources. This is not me advocating for, obviously saving the planet and, like ecologically kind of looking at things, but there is something to this. Opening to, like, making a full circle to what the ancient cultures already knew, is working with the universe, working with the land, working with the nature in cycles, and really understanding natural resources. Now, you that are younger generations, obviously, I'm in that group of millennials, but if you're younger, Gen Z and younger, and if you're older, you may resonate with this as well. Coming back to the nature and natural elements is where really we're being guided to. It's something about rebirthing that ancient knowledge of both alchemy and natural, like that shamanic practices. Coming back to that, you can sense that. And as I said that, my body I start to get goosebumps, because we are meant to be one with nature, with the planet. We're meant to turn to more natural resources. We have very much deviated from this. I mean, we're all guilty of this, myself included. I'm not the most natural resources. I would love to, though. I have desire to be more aligned with the planet. I don't know how far I'm going to get in this lifetime. But for you that are in that group of really these spiritual warriors and shamans, really that have that innate knowledge of how nature works, by all means, you're being called to step into the forefront and lead others to come back to nature. Some of you may be yoga teachers. I see a lot of yoga teachers, shamans, breathwork practitioners. Maybe you are in that group. I kind of tend to draw towards myself lightworkers. So if you're in that group, even if you're not a teacher, if you just practice that, you seem to be more of that aligned with the nature kind of person. Maybe you're into health and wellness. You really understand how to bring that aspect. Some of you I see more into making natural products, like soaps and stuff like that from nature, using things to detox people, using tinctures for all of that. It doesn't mean we're going to completely abandon technology, and I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying that rooting, awakening to natural resources is the path to the ancient knowledge and way of living. A lot more people, the planet is calling us to align, to step into that alignment. And really all of these things that we were talking about, spiritual awakening, spiritual awareness, we talked about managing energy, and everything that we touched on today leads us back to the beginning of self, that we are coming from that cell, coming from that biology that started within the planet, right? The planet itself created life with the universe, obviously life force, energy, and spirit. But we came from that, and we're coming back to that same cycle of creation. And the planet makes up, what the planet is within our own system. We're made out of the same elements, so we want to nurture these elements that are on the planets by taking them and incorporating them into our own bodies. And for some people, this may mean literally going out there into the sun and just, I'm not saying without the sunscreen, but just being out there and getting that nurturing energy from the sun, using the power of the soil, all of the natural, coming back to the production of nature. How does it look like when we are relying on the nature opposed to relying on other toxic elements we have in our lifestyle? This may also bring you to the place of needing to be more in nature, de-stressing that way, finding solutions in the nature for things that you're dealing with. A lot of you, including myself, may have a lot of stressors in your body or outside of your body, and the planet is inviting you. Even if you are, and this doesn't mean you have to be vegan or vegetarian, but there is something about hunting in the nature, being a part of that, what the ancients used to do. So we're coming back, really back into the past that we know and we don't know, right? We've taken that pathway back so we can remember how to live in alignment with nature. So this is my part 1, and now we're gonna jump into the part 2, so I will see you there. All right, welcome to this second part of the reading, which is our tarot and oracle reading. And I'm actually being guided to pull out of this dog tarot, which I'm gonna honor my 2 doggies that have passed on. Now this, you can Google it as far as what this tarot deck is about, or if you're using any animal tarot, it's because, you know, you may want to know what your animals are thinking, but in my case, I'm actually going to use them symbolically, and I read that intuitively. So I have one of the bulls, and this is kind of fun. I'm going to show you this card as well, one of the bulls. So I'm being drawn to pull like 7 cards, 3 of leashes. And again, I'm going to read them intuitively. Let me show you this 3 of leashes. It's kind of cute. That one kind of went everywhere. This one wants to come up. 1 of leashes. And I see leashes kind of like a wands, and bowls I'm looking at shelter. Bowls are I'm looking at as cups. So hopefully you can see. And I like to kind of show you the cards. Shelter. This is a very slim deck, so it's generally doesn't really shuffle as good. The pack, 7 of leashes. Let's show you the pack. And 7 of leashes. And then one more. The spirit said 7. And chariot, which we know that is, and I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to put this card on the top over there because that's where it's leading me to put this. Now we're going to start with this number 1, and this is really kind of leading me, interestingly enough, to this fulfillment. So there is something in your life that you are looking for that you still don't have. And I think this has come out in other readings as well. There's this sense of looking for something that would make you happy in some part of your life that you don't have. For some of you, this could be a job, particular job. For some of you, I see, for most of you, I do see this around career, but for a minority, I do see children or having issues with, like maybe conceiving, maybe wanting children. Maybe wanting children for you, like grandchildren, like your children to have children, and maybe that's not something that they have, but there's some sort of lack, something that you're missing, something that is very much this 3 of leashes as 3 of wands. This is like a deep desire. It's not just like a surface kind of desire. This is a deep desire, something connected to your soul's path. If it's a career, this could be you, right? Having this change in career or having a different career. I do see for some of you is starting your own business, having your own business, or wanting to create something of that sort. This is, again, a passion of yours. You may be very aware of where, of this passion. Again, very purpose-wise. And this shelter thing is, it's kind of where you feel like you are in this, there's like a loss, like there's this missing piece that you feel is like you don't have a permanent home, right? If you really had this thing, you would feel so much like at home with yourself, within yourself. Now, interestingly enough, where Spirit is guiding us is the pack, right? That this is something you can discover as you're going out there in the world and connecting with other people that are similar minded. So, when it comes to career, if you're looking to change careers, maybe there are people that are in a same group, or maybe they're looking for more purpose, right? And so, reaching out to the community may become important for you. And then if you are dealing with this thing with children, right, looking for that supportiveness within your pack, within your community. And this pack could also mean you finding teachers, finding role models. I see some of you maybe reaching out to, going to certain conferences, listening to other, teachers or practitioners or speakers talk about this. And this is a journey. The Seven of Leashes really talks about this being a journey of you kind of removing any blocks that might be standing in your way as you are going through this, right? Like acknowledging that there is the desire, that there is a desire that's leading you to reach out to people around you, people in your community, people similarly minded, and that whatever it is that's stopping you, that you are going to be working on that. It's interesting how we have a lot of ones and we have some 3s and 7s, and we have some major arcana. Again, I'm going to read this intuitively so that we don't get stuck, because we have other oracle decks that I want to cover. But again, these blocks some of you are dealing with emotional blocks to this, whatever your desire is. For some, these emotional blocks are rooted in the childhood, but some of these are also rooted in some wounds like that you have already adopted from others. So maybe these are collective patterns. So some of you could be ancestral patterns. A lot of it is sort of like the way that your parents or grandparents were set in their way. Maybe there was a traditional approach and you are totally not traditional or non-conventional. And this is what's stopping you to actually get into this career, maybe have a child. Maybe you're not meant to have a child in a traditional way. Perhaps you will be having a child through adoption, or maybe you're going to have a child through surrogacy. The same thing with your children, accepting that maybe they're not these conventional children, that maybe they're kind of outside the norms. So dealing with this piece, it is about getting outside of the comfort zone. And once when you discern what these blocks are and you really open up to community, which can help you alleviate these blocks, remove them, then this is about movement forward. Chariot, even in tarot, right? It is about movement forward, unrestricted movement forward. And look at how happy this dog is. Now, if you have animals, your animals may be a part of your pack and helping you, whether they're on this side or on the other side, as you are really going through a major transformation in your life. This may also be a part of your spiritual awakening. If you followed my part 1, we spent a lot of time talking about spiritual awakening and what Spirit was bringing to us, how unique that process is, managing the energy, and really getting into that space of openness for ourselves. And this is really talking about that, talking about in the everyday life, this is what it's kind of manifesting as to you shifting careers, perhaps. You, again, for some of you, is starting a family and you kind of expanding your family, looking for that in a more unique, non-traditional way. Again, this is where I'm seeing this in the tarot. Now, I have some oracle cards, which is the Soul Truth, the Self-Awareness card deck, which I absolutely love, by Brian Hovey. I think that's her name. And I just want us to, you know, I'm really going to get you some messages here because this is what this deck brings. And I'm sorry, I don't unpack my decks. They're very precious to me. So forgive me if I am spending some time doing that. But we're going to jump into this, and I am going to shuffle this pretty well so that we get some guidance. They are also messages and affirmations that you can get, and I'm guided to pick two. This is very interesting. It says, how can I be more flexible now? What are you trying to control? Maybe it's time to let go. Let love move through you today and trust the outcome will be for your highest good. Today's soul action is remind yourself all day long that you're safe, that life is happening for you, and that you're not alone. Then do some yoga. It's kind of funny, but it really is. It is about coming out of this comfort zone. Wherever you have been seems like to me very safe, very comfort zone, something you're used to, something maybe traditional, something you're everyday, mundane. And now Spirit is asking you, can you change that for yourself? Can you look at your life and see what you truly desire that you don't have? Because this is something that is your part of your path, part of your purpose. But how you get to that may be very unique, right? So that's the message. How can I be more flexible now? And I'm going to put that on top of these cards so you can see it. That is the soul's truth, and I love that this deck talks about the soul's truth. It's very near and dear to my heart. Here's another one. Very interesting. What am I most afraid of losing? Again, this is where you are in your comfort zone, and it says here, as we grow, change, and transform our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was to make room for what will be. If you were to take the big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? Talking about that shelter, right? Comfort zone. What if it was a big fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? Soul action is name that fear. We talked about blocks. And look at the worst case scenario. Find a solution. Take your power back by being certain of who you are and where you're going. Today's mantra is I move forward knowing that I'm powerful beyond measure. I'm loved, I'm safe, and I belong, right? This is what you're looking for. And if you're having this fear of losing something, right? If this is something you're used to, like a certain job, a 9-to-5 rut, right? You keep on going through that and it's really not supportive to you. The same thing, what if you are trying to do things a certain traditional way? It's not working. Can you let go of that because you're not losing anything? You're gaining something new and that you're always safe and protected. So this is that deck, which was very inspiring to me. Now I'm gonna move some of these cards and we're gonna move towards our inner child healing. Now I'm sensing this is necessary for some of us to get over these kind of blocks, right? Some of them are rooted in our childhood. Amanda Lynn Aisling has a solution for us, and I love this deck as well. I love oracles. I love tarot too, but I like oracles. And so I'm being guided to pull 3 cards. A lot of cards today. You may like this reading. Get Lost. This beautiful card, Get Lost. I don't know if you can see it. I will put it on top of here. Fall deep into the realm of imagination. Now, how I'm going to read this is really about letting go again, right? Letting go of these expectations. That's what comes through very strongly. Let go of expectations of what this road is going to be like. Right? Looking for a new career, don't really know where to start, right? Let go of expectations. Is this going to lead me into something else? Do I need to be putting out the applications for something else? Let go of it and get lost in the process. Start to tune into the process. Where is this journey leading me? It's leading you towards some pack, some group of people, of like-minded people, but you can allow yourself to really lean into that inner child imagination. Spend time in nature. This was something that could definitely help you out. Let the beauty of nature really, refresh you, bring you back into that space of rejuvenation. For some of you, this could mean journaling in the nature, going with the group of people. It did mention yoga, maybe doing something in the nature. I see retreats as well. Maybe you're drawn to a particular retreat with the like-minded people, looking for that path. Being guided to pull 2 more cards. This one stands out. Let love guide you. Let love guide you. Choose to see the good in the world today. It's kind of hard when we don't see, that love in the world for us as we're going through this. And maybe this is something that, again, it's not what everybody's going through, right? I mean, a lot of people go through career change, but maybe people around you are not those people, right? Maybe those people that are around you are not those people. Sorry, I'm moving these cards so that we can see everything. But, maybe, again, these people are not, and you want to let love guide you. Allow, any kind of haters, because I'm seeing something where people are maybe around you that maybe are completely different. Maybe you have family around you that is traditional and you're unconventional. Maybe you have friends that are all happy, married, have children, and, have great careers, and you are nowhere close. So choose to see that this is their path and this is mine, right? Don't lean into their path, lean into yours. And then one more card we're going to pull. Review your responsibilities. Note that all responsibilities are not yours to hold. So to me, again, I'm going to interpret this intuitively as well. And if you're drawn to this deck, I highly recommend you also going in and looking into the little booklet, reviewing your responsibilities. Now, this can kind of be your sort of that unconventional and kind of seeing what are my responsibilities here, and are the responsibilities that are no longer serving me in my way. In other words, do I really need to feel the security of the 9-to-5 job if that is no longer making me happy? Can I see this responsibility as my own? For some of you, it's taking care of other people. And that doesn't mean don't take care of other people. It just means, can you delegate some of this to other people as you are truly pursuing your dream? But check in with your responsibilities. And are these responsibilities one of these blocks, right? What am I most afraid of losing, right? If you have the security responsibility of the job, maybe this is one of those blocks that is sort of holding you back from pursuing your passion. And review as to how you can also shift these responsibilities to other people, that could maybe support you in this journey. Maybe your pack is also your family or people around you that can support you to honor this true desire of yours. And then finally, I love this spiritual teacher, Matt Kahn. I was drawn to getting this, his healing deck, and we are going to work with his healing mantra deck and see if we can pull up some mantras that can be helpful to us as we are going through this process. Obviously, on some level, guys, I'm obviously going through similar process as you are, shifting kind of things, going after through things that I desire, and I can relate to these messages as well. Resolving anger. So there could be some resentments. It could be you getting frustrated with things, and whether this is, I feel like this is more an inner conflict rather than outer conflict. So where is this conflict you have within yourself? I see for some reason, some of you are calling yourself maybe subconsciously certain names, like maybe not speaking to yourself in the most kind ways, like, oh, forget about this, or get over it, or why can't you figure this out? Right? This anger and resolving anger comes and reminds you that you maybe need some more space for yourself. You need to figure out what is your next step, or where to go with this, how to remove these blocks. Funny, Spirit is drawing without shuffling to this. When it's a yes, nothing stops me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. Acknowledging apprehension, right? Acknowledging apprehension. It's about when it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. Listening to your own energy. And I'll be honest, I want to actually see if we can find this in a booklet and honor what he is saying. So bear with me as I find this is going to be resolving anger. And it's a really small booklet, so I think we can go resolving anger. When anger is resolved, you're able to see your emotional reactions or the abrupt responses of others as evidence of profound transformation taking place. When anger is present, it acts as a sign of needing more space to face the feelings that are ready to be healed or to be balanced out, or doing more moments of silent being. This mantra is ideal, right? Managing stress, deepening interpersonal communication, and tempering frustration. So conflicts remind me when I need more space. That's the mantra. When I need more space. This inner conflict is reminding you, maybe I need some more space for myself before I take on that next step. And the other thing is acknowledging apprehension. And we see the mantra here: when it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. When apprehension is acknowledged, you become aware of constant back and forth between polarities. As this back and forth movement occurs, it can feel nearly impossible to make decisive, empowering choices. As you acknowledge any apprehension, recognize that either it is your heart trying to warn you of an old choice or pattern you're repeating. Remember, it's a no. Then, you obviously, if some pattern repeating, then it is something where you're in a comfort zone. So this mantra is ideal for resolving indecisiveness, balancing impulsive behaviors, and trusting your instincts. So what I'm going to leave you with, right, is to summon this reading. This is about you honoring your true desire, something that is in your life that you do not have, but you desire deeply, something that Spirit wants to bring to your attention. A lot of you is a career path, and you're meant to let go of the comfort zone and, allow yourself to honor any blocks you may have, allowing yourself to resolve these blocks, to honor yourself if conflicts arise, any apprehension, spend time with yourself. And as you do, and you start to, let go of things, get outside your comfort zone, honor this beautiful desire that you have, then you start to move forward. The numbers that are very much showing here, and I'm drawn to certain numbers here, so I'm going to just say them. The frequencies that I'm getting here mostly is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, which is 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So we're getting a lot of 6 here. I'm getting 1 and 5 here. This is 6, this is 6 and 7. But the point is 2121 is something that you can Google and see what does it actually mean. You can use it as an angel number, or you can just repeat it as an energetic frequency. It is about this movement forward, and that this is a call of your soul. 6 is a very sort of like that service number, the number of service, the life path of service. This is definitely going to be serving you as well as serving other people, saying yes to this desire, honoring the journey and the process. I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please like this reading, share, subscribe, right? I'm going to see you next time for our part 1 and 2 intuitive check-in and collective reading. Love and light to all of you. Bye, friend.